it's Reija and welcome to another day of Vlogmas. Today I want to talk about all of the female authors that I haven't read anything from yet, but I want to. So let's get started because there are quite a few of these ladies. First author that I want to talk about is Tamora Pierce. She is a very prolific fantasy author and her Song of the Lioness Quartet is pretty much one of the big fantasy classics in my opinion, and I have not read it. Many of my friends have recommended it, and many of my real life friends, even if they haven't read anything else, they have read Tamora Pierce and they know who she is. So Tamora Pierce is one of those authors that I really want to get into, and I recently bought this copy of Alana, which is the first book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet, and next year I'm hopefully going to be reading this. And the next author that I have on my list is Diana Wynne Jones, and you might be going, What? Because she is a very popular author and she is probably the most well known for this one, Howl's Moving Castle. I have seen the Ghibli adaptation of this, but I have never read anything by Diana Wynne Jones. And it's kind of tragic, really, because the way people describe her stories sounds like she would be an author that I would be really into. So I just don't know why I haven't picked up any of her books before. But hopefully soon I will be reading this one. And if you want to buddy read this, let me know, because I would be really into buddy reading this one. The next author that I have on my list is Anne McCaffrey. She is probably the most well known for writing the Dragon Riders of Pern series. But I actually found this one. This is the Crystal Singer series, a trilogy that she wrote. And it just seemed like such an acid trip based on the covers and based on the synopsis. It is basically a science fiction story that deals heavily with music. And that's all I pretty much know about it, and it just sounds really interesting. And the Dragon Riders of Pern is such a huge series that even though it has intrigued me and Anne McCaffrey has intrigued me, I myself don't really know if I would be able to get into it because there's so many books. But this is a trilogy, so I think it is much easier for me to get into this. And then I have Trudy Canavan. This is the Black Magician trilogy, The Magician's Apprentice. This is the prequel to the trilogy. I still need to get my hands on the actual trilogy, but I think I will read it from the library. And Trudy Canavan is basically writing about magical assassins, magicians who are also assassins, from what I can gather. And from my experience, a lot of the time, assassin stories and wizard stories in the epic fantasy genre are written by men. So I'm really interested to see how Trudy Canavan handles that and how this series works, and how those sort of general tropes in kind of assassin epic fantasy genre are presented here. I'm really intrigued. Moving on to some fresher talent, I have Nnedi Okorafor on my list. I already own the whole Binti trilogy on ebook and I've been meaning to get to it, but alas, I still haven't managed to read any of Okorafor's work, which is a shame on me because she is very prolific and she is very much talked about right now. And I really want to get into the Binti trilogy, and also Akata Witch is on my high priority TBR. Then I have Martha Wells on my list. She is probably the most well-known currently for her Murderbot novella series, which is also getting a full-length novel soon. And this whole this whole novella collection just sounds so intriguing and interesting. Murderbot as a character sounds really fascinating, and I've been watching all of my booktube friends reading and raving about this collection, and I'm kind of dreading getting into it myself because I feel like I've hyped this series so much that I don't know how I'm going to react to it, but I'm still very much looking forward to be reading it. The next author on my list is Fonda Lee. She has written quite a few books, but the one that piqued my interest the most is Jade City, which is pretty much a kind of dystopian fantasy all about kind of like mining jade and jade granting people magical powers. And it just seems like a kind of story that I'm really into. It's kind of like has that fantasy Hong Kong vibe with like kung fu elements and wuxia elements and also like opium wars and stuff, and it seems like it's gonna be a really dark and gritty story, and I can't wait to read it. And finally, the last author that I have on my list today is Cindy Pon, specifically her story Want, which is a science fiction dystopian about pretty much about class privilege and class differences. It is basically about these rich people who can access technology to allow them to live in this very polluted world, whereas people who can't afford said technology are forced to live without and become sick and basically die younger than they should. And I have seen it talked about a lot on various places on booktube. I remember first seeing it on Adriana's channel on Perpetual Pages, and they raved about this book, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. There are plenty more female authors out there that I didn't mention in this video. If you have some that you want to read but haven't, share them down in the comments, and I would be glad to jot them down on my list as well. This is not a comprehensive list, but just a scratch on the surface that I hope to get started on these ladies soon. If you like this video, please consider giving a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you for another video of Vlogmas. Bye bye!